Welcome back, history enthusiasts, to another captivating episode of History of Mystery. Today, we embark on an intriguing journey into one of aviation's most baffling enigmas, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Prepare to delve into the depths of history and uncover the secrets surrounding this perplexing incident. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappearance, also called MH370 disappearance of a Malaysia Airlines passenger jet on March 8, 2014, during a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The disappearance of the Boeing 777, with 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board, led to a search effort stretching from the Indian Ocean west of Australia to Central Asia. The perplexing nature of the loss of Flight 370 is such that it has become one of history's most famous missing aircraft. Flight 370 took off at 12:41 a.m. local time and reached a cruising altitude of 10,700 meters, 35,000 feet, at 1:01 a.m. The Aircraft Communication Addressing and Reporting System, a CARS, which transmitted data about the aircraft's performance, sent its last transmission at 1:07 a.m. and was subsequently switched off. The last voice communication from the crew occurred at 1:19 a.m. and at 1:21 a.m. the plane's transponder, which communicated with air traffic control, was switched off, just as the plane was about to enter Vietnamese airspace over the South China Sea. At 1:30 a.m., Malaysian military and civilian radar began tracking the plane as it turned around and then flew southwest over the Malay Peninsula and then northwest over the Strait of Malacca. At 2:22 a.m., Malaysian military radar lost contact with the plane over the Andaman Sea. An Inmarsat satellite in geostationary orbit over the Indian Ocean received hourly signals from Flight 370 and last detected the plane at 8:11 a.m. Initial searches for the plane concentrated on the South China Sea. After it was determined that Flight 370 had turned to the west, shortly after the transponder was switched off, search efforts moved to the Strait of Malacca and the Andaman Sea. On March 15, a week after the plane had disappeared, the Inmarsat contact was disclosed. Analysis of the signal could not locate the plane precisely, but did determine that the plane might have been anywhere on two arcs, one stretching from Java southward into the Indian Ocean southwest of Australia, and the other stretching northward across Asia from Vietnam to Turkmenistan. The search area was then expanded to the Indian Ocean southwest of Australia on the southern arc in Southeast Asia, Western China, the Indian subcontinent, and Central Asia on the northern arc. On March 24, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak announced that, based on analysis of the final signals, Inmarsat and the UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch, AAIB, had concluded that the flight crashed in a remote part of the Indian Ocean, 2,500 km, 1,500 miles southwest of Australia. Thus, it was extremely unlikely that anyone on board survived. The search for wreckage was hampered by the remote location of the crash site. Beginning on April 6, an Australian ship detected several acoustic pings, possibly from the Boeing 777's flight recorder, or black box, about 2,000 km, 1,200 miles, northwest of Perth, Western Australia. Further analysis by the AAIB of the Inmarsat data also found a partial signal from the plane at 8:19 a.m. consistent with the location of the acoustic pings, the last of which were heard on April 8. If the signals were from Flight 370, the flight recorder was likely at the end of its battery life. Further searches were conducted using a robotic submarine. However, the pings had been spread over a wide area. The submarine found no debris, and tests found that a faulty cable in the acoustic equipment could have produced the pings. The first piece of debris was not found until July 29, 2015, when the right-wing flaperon was discovered on a beach on the French island of Réunion, about 3,700 km, 2,300 miles, west of the Indian Ocean area that was being searched by Australian authorities. Over the next year and a half, 26 more pieces of debris were found on the shores of Tanzania, Mozambique, South Africa, Madagascar, and Mauritius. 3 of the 27 pieces were positively identified as coming from Flight 370, and 17 were thought to have likely come from the plane. 2 pieces came from the cabin interior, suggesting that the plane had broken up, but whether the plane broke up in the air or on impact with the ocean could not be determined. Study of the reunion wing flaperon and a piece of the right wing flap found in Tanzania showed that the plane had not undergone a controlled descent. That is, the plane had not been guided to a water landing. Some researchers note that Flight 370 could have struck the water vertically, a possibility in which the results of one modeling study conducted before the flaperon's discovery suggests could explain the dearth of physical evidence. The debris locations were used to narrow the search area in the Indian Ocean, since some possible crash sites would have been unlikely to produce debris that would have drifted to Africa. The governments of Malaysia, Australia, and China called off the search for Flight 370 in January 2017. An American company, Ocean Infinity, received permission from the Malaysian government to continue searching until May 2017, when the Malaysian Transport Ministry announced that it would call off that search. In July 2018, the Malaysian government issued its final report on Flight 370's disappearance. Mechanical malfunction was deemed extremely unlikely, and the change in flight path likely resulted from manual inputs. But the investigators could not determine why Flight 370 disappeared. In the weeks following Flight 370's disappearance, theories range from mechanical failure to pilot suicide. The loss of the ACARS and transponder signals spurred ongoing speculation about some form of hijacking, but no individual or group claimed responsibility, and it seemed unlikely that hijackers would have flown the plane to the southern Indian Ocean. That the signals had likely been switched off from inside the aircraft suggested suicide by one of the crew, a possibility that Malaysian authorities have yet to rule out. But nothing suspicious was found in the behavior of the captain, the first officer, or the cabin crew prior to the flight. After the discovery of the debris, some speculated that Flight 370 was shot down, but no evidence of shrapnel from a missile or other projectiles has been found.